Alright, so for this week I decided to go for Titan, Arc subclass, and spam and abuse storm grenades. And yes, if you guys notice, I am using the rally barricade. Reason why is because I'm going to do the mini cheese spot, and I feel the rally barricade will be the safest instead of using the dodge. If you dodge up to the cheese spot, which I will show very soon once we get to the boss fight, you're going to bounce off to your cheese spot and then just fall down. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I'll talk more later about it. Mainly we gotta gather these arc pulses. You can just go ahead and just use linear, use your lemon arc, and then take down all these ads. Now I am taking my time here. I was just browsing around, trying to use a sparrow, always on time, by the way, if anyone's curious of what I'm using. I will post the dim loadout since I know a lot of players are super curious of what detail loadout I was using. I'm gonna throw my storm grenades all the way far ahead. Reason why is because there's one that has this sparrow, which he is extremely annoying. And let me just tell you, be aware of the fallens with the sparrow. They can actually one-shot you if they run on you. I know this is kind of embarrassing, but it happened to me, and it was probably the most embarrassing thing I ever had in my life. And you know what? I'm gonna be a good person. I'm gonna post on community tab just to show the funny epic fail that I ever have to deal with on a Titan. Yes, it's embarrassing. So if you did see in the community tab and laugh, well, I'm human. Nobody's perfect. I'm not a perfect person. Okay, maybe I could have dodged it faster if I was on PC, but anyway, joke aside, I'm gonna be using lemon arc, and yes, I am using bow. Overload bow mod on my gauntlets. Everyone is different, alright? Because I am using it is to be more consistent on staggering on the overload champions. That's the reason why. And let's just be honest, the overload champions for this Nightfall is a nightmare. I hate them, I despise them, which is why I'm using lemon arc. And also be aware of the snipers up ahead. And it's just better. I mean, you can use without it, but you have to do precision shots consistently, or it's not gonna work. It's a bit, not bug, okay, maybe a tiny bug, but the good news is you can get more percent, around 30 to 35% if you do put the overload mod on your gauntlets. Lemon arc is way more powerful, so I do recommend to put overload bow mod on the gauntlets for this season. That way you can consistently stagger the overload champions. You get 30% or 35% damage buff, so it's a win-win. Like, why not put it on? Why not put it on the gauntlets on your Titan, your Warlock, or your Hunter? You know, why not? It's a good deal. I know someone will argue and say, well, we could put bow loader. You don't really need it so much because if you are an arc subclass, you get the amplify perk where you reload your bow, as you can see over here, really fast. So there's really no need of bow loader or linear. So anyway, I'm going to spam storm grenades, use my Thundercrash, and then just make my way. And yeah, if you're wondering, all those 4 champions, well, I'll tell you, it's all overload champions. I'm not even joking or exaggerating. All overload champions. Now be happy and thankful that it is not the Scorn arc overload champions in this Nightfall. Alright, there are way worse more of a threat than these guys. They're just really annoying, but if you do Hella Manar, or if Osteo was overload, if it was overload submachine gun, then these overload champions are not as a big threat as they were on previous seasons. Now, mainly you do have to be cautious with the Arc Seekers. Now, this overload champion loves to shoot Arc Seekers, so make sure you take him down as quick as possible. You can just throw your storm grenade and then just switch to your linear. Now, I am on PS5, if anyone's wondering. So if I was on PC, of course, I could make it more broken. Well, it can be more broken, depending how many frames you have for Destiny. But still, you know, just be aware of the overload champions, especially when they're spamming the Arc Seekers at you. There's also a couple of the Vandals and Fallens that can also shoot Arc Seekers. Now, some of the overload champions also shoot Solar, so be aware. And make sure you don't just stand still, because the Solar can actually melt you, and the Arc Seeker as well. So you have to consistently move around when doing DPS. So I was just looking for a Marauder, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, and I sensed there was an invisible Fallen up ahead, so I want to take him down. Alright, so I'm going to be having this ghost sacrifice himself or herself. I'm not really sure if it's a girl or boy. Going to let the ghost do all the work so I can capture the plate, basically. So there's going to be a couple of other champions. I am spamming the rally barricade, so just make sure you pull back, because the overload champions are really well, not bug, but they can sometimes teleport, shoot in front of you, and then disappear. I'm not even joking, it happened to me. It's super weird, but of course GMs this season is completely different and way more easier. Because I remember on my old Exodus Crash Grandmasters, way more harder. I remember they one-shot me, and now they don't because of the resilience. So just make sure you have resilience up to 9 tier or 10. For me, for the Titan, I decided just to go for 10. Now, I am being extremely reckless here because I'm just rushing through, and the reason why is because I just want to get this Nightfall done. You know, Exodus Crash is one of my least hated, I would say mainly disliked Nightfalls. And yes, I did make that Fallen fly away, which is good because that's basically how I feel about this Nightfall. This Nightfall is my most dislike. I never liked Exodus Crash. You know, I remember old seasons, it was just so bugged that I remember that we didn't have Exodus Crash for a long time. Then it came back, then it was more bugs, and then it came back again. So I remember fully what happened, and then there was times where I pushed the boss, and then he died, and then I completed it. I wish I could have uploaded that, but that was like during the old days of Exodus Crash. But of course, you know, every season there's always something, little tweaks or something new, like champions. You know, now they have champions in this Grandmaster. So once you go above the percent, you will have these two adorable, lovable, adorable baby servitors. I mean, barrier champions. You can just throw your storm grenades once you stagger the champion when it pops his shield. And if you guys are noticing, yes, I am using shoot to loot. I do recommend you use shoot to loot scout rifle for this Nightfall, especially doing the mini cheese method. It really helps a lot, so highly recommend. Teleportation, did you see that? The Overload champ is like, hi Blitz! Poof! And then it disappeared. See, I told you. I said Overload champions, they just teleport in front of you, shoot solar, and they're like, bye Blitz! And then they teleport. It's just absolutely ridiculous. They're so buggy. So just be very careful with them. Because I have high resilience, it didn't really do as much damage as old previous seasons. But you can see here that Lemon Arc just helps so much for this section. The one where we have to capture the plate. So anyway, once we take down the Overload champions, the 3 or 4, I lost count to be honest. I mean, how many Overload champions do we even have in this specific section? I mean, we just took down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 or 10. Like so many champions in this section. Absolutely ridiculous. I never liked this area, but because of the storm grenades, it's just way more easier than ever. So we are gonna go and proceed the high percent of 61, 62. I will back away if a lot of ads are going towards the plate where the poor defenseless ghost is by itself. Now the good news is the ghost is not gonna get hurt, so even if there's explosive shanks or electric shanks or the overload, it's not going to hurt your ghost, so that's the good news. The good news is it's not going to get damaged. If it did, it would be bad, so that would mean you have to stay on the plate. So once we hit around 70% or above 70, then there'll be more waves of ads. So this is going to be the first solar shank. There's around 3 of them. So just make sure you just abuse and use storm grenades. So you can actually throw your storm grenades, and once you break the solar shield, then you could just use your linear. Now for this one, I did not use a solar bow, you know, Taiku. I really don't like Taiku. I know everyone will disagree with me. I mean, if I had to choose Lemon Arc over Taiku, gotta be really honest, I kind of rather use Lemon Arc over Taiku. I just don't like Taiku, especially dealing with Overload champions. Sometimes it's just not consistent. And yes, I know you can full draw the Taiku. Yes, I understand. I tried it. It's just that sometimes it just doesn't work for me. Everyone's different. Alright, so now we're gonna have the 2 solar shanks. What you can do over here is actually just throw your storm grenades. You can also use your super as well. I think I was just having way too much fun with storm grenades. And also with Lemon Arc. Lemon Arc is just so amazing. You know, it's one of my favorite weapons. I know sometimes I make jokes of, you know, when there's a way, if you want to solve your problems on GM, just spam Lemon Arc. Lemon Arc is just more powerful, and then with the buff, when you put the Overload bow on your gauntlets, it's so powerful. And then when you have the catalyst for the Lemon Arc, you can also get health, especially for togetherness. It's unbelievable. So now over here you can actually use your super, or you can just use your heavy. So yeah, I could have used my super, but it's okay. You know, no one's perfect. This was actually my second attempt. My first attempt, I didn't like the run so much. I don't know why, honestly. The run was basically the same as this run. So I guess I just wanted to do the run again just to double check if it's safe for casual players, if it's safe for players to use these weapons. So that's why I decided to go for second go. This is the area where I'm praying for blueberries. Yes, those guys over there. Like, please just collect arc pulses for me. But guess what? You know what happened over here? They saw me and they said, "Nah, Blitz, you get it yourself." They left me these blueberries. How could you? CB, no! Collect the arc pulses. It makes me sad, you know, it really makes me sad. You know, I thought maybe they would recognize me, say, "Oh my god, it's Blitz from YouTube. I gotta collect the arc pulses for her." Nope. They saw me and say, "Nah, get it yourself, Blitz." Anyway, it's okay. You know what? I found a rally flag. And you know what? If you see a rally flag, just use it. Abuse it. Use it. It would just make your run easier. So I got super lucky. So even though the fellow Blueberry Guardians left me, which is pretty sad and disappointing, I really wanted them to collect the arc pulses for me. But the good news is we got the rally flag. So now I have full heavy and I can just abuse it on the walker. So I usually go up here, but remember there are a couple ads up ahead. The only reason why I decided to go on this section is because of the solar shank. So if you don't do enough, if you don't do DPS fast enough on taking down the walker, the solar shank is actually going to sneak up on you and then take you down. Basically send you back to orbit. It has happened to me many times, so I think over here is the safest. And if you are using Sundering Glare, even better. Make sure you throw your grenades up to the left side because there is a sniper. So here, my opinion, is the safest. Everyone is different. I like going here because I like to take my sweet time. And because the solar shank sometimes sneaks up on me. So for me, I decided to go over here, just spam linear, Sundering Glare, abuse. And then there you go. Proof that Sundering Glare actually helps for this Nightfall. And you know what's the best part about Sundering Glare for this season? You can actually abuse it on the mini cheese. So Sundering Glare also helps with the scout and with the linear. Now I did try the bow. It didn't work for Lemonarch. I've been reading on Reddit that it works on bows. I have not seen any proof. Like, I tried it on my runs, and I'm not seeing any results with the bow working on Sundering Glare. Maybe it works on a fast bow, so I'm gonna try a different bow and see if it works. I'm trying to figure out why a lot of players said it works on bows. I'm trying to figure out right now. Make sure you throw your grenade. And yes, the reason why I'm just looking and browsing around is because I was looking for the snipers. So if you take down all the Fallens, then the snipers will spawn. Now one of them ran away, right? So because one of them ran away, the snipers did not spawn yet. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I could just go up here and then just skip the sniper since I haven't cleared all the ads. That was my idea and it did work for this footage. For my first run, it didn't work. You know, actually the snipers did spawn. So for here, I decided to just skip the snipers. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So make sure you hear your surroundings. If you do see or hear snipers, then back away. So now we're going to take down these electric shanks. And we're actually going to go to the mini cheese. Now, let me just say that I actually gonna do a mini time skip here, I actually mess up my Titan jump. Alright, so finally I made it to the mini cheese spot. And now I'm gonna go to this edge. So as I said before, I do recommend you use a rally barricade. I don't recommend using the dodge. I have tested out on master version last month. Off screen, by the way, I didn't upload the video because it was too late, you know. And I gotta be really honest, you can actually fall down from the mini cheese from your dodge, even if you hug the wall. It's a bit RNG, so just to let everyone know, I do recommend you just put a rally barricade behind you and then turn back. So now I did enough DPS, by the way, to make the boss disappear. And then he did spawn again, so just make sure you spam your storm grenades. And then just abuse Sundering Glare. It just helps so much. I do recommend using Cell Spy Pitch Glass. Now if you're on PC, then of course you can use Storm Chaser. You know, the recoiler wouldn't really be the big issue for you. But for console, for Xbox, for PlayStation 4, for PlayStation 5, Xbox One, it is a big issue of using Storm Chaser from far distance. And also it just helps so much with the Cell Spy Pitch Glass. With Sundering Glare, it makes the run much more faster. So I do recommend of having Clown Cartridge with the Frenzy. It does help, I do recommend it. That Pacific perk, I do have a craft video for that. Please don't put Volt Shot. I don't know why people are putting Volt Shot on GMs. I'm so confused, you know, of Volt Shot. I know it does 20% more damage, but are you really going to use a heavy for Volt Shot? I'll talk more about Volt Shot in another video. I'm probably gonna make another craft video, by the way, just to explain more about Volt Shot on weapons, or which one is good and which one's not good. Is it really worth it on GMs, you know? And I'm actually gonna show proof of how it is, because I feel like Volt Shot's getting the wrong message for solo GMs versus Volt Shot on Fireteam. So now make sure you do stand here. I am on purpose standing on the corner, and the reason why I'm standing in the corner is because I do want these ads to come out, and I want them to try their best to throw grenades or anything, or I want the boss to shoot solar at me. So that's the reason why I do recommend to have rally barricade, because if you use your dodge, you're going to fall off from the cheese spot. Because mainly if you are using the dodge, you have to be in the middle of the cheese spot or the platform. You have to be in the middle of the platform hugging the wall. It can be a bit awkward, and for casual players it can be a little uncomfortable, in my opinion, because I did test it out. That's why I'm doing this run second go, just to make sure this run works out. So I do recommend rally barricade, but make sure you put it behind you. The only reason why I barricade on the right side is to make sure the Fallens don't sneak up on me and throw grenades. So proof here that Sundering Glare really helps a lot, and definitely highly recommend you use it for this Nightfall. So make sure you throw your grenades, make sure you use your scout. So once again, I'm going to be throwing my grenades. And then I'm just trying to take down this barrier champion because he's just so adorable. I just want to lemon arc it. And yes, I know I make a lot of jokes about it, but it's true. I mean, lemon arc is just so amazing. Alright, so over here, I do recommend you throw your grenades. I would ignore all these explosive shanks unless you do need some heavy, then you can shoot and take down the electric shanks. I was just trying to get the ammo. But then, after that, more waves of ads spawn. So once again, I'm going to be rally the barricade from behind me so I can get the empowered grenade or enhanced grenade. So right now I'm just shooting all this explosive shanks or overcharged shanks or the Pika shanks. You know, that's a nickname I like to give them, by the way. So once we take down a couple of these shanks, I decided to throw in my storm grenade. And then this is during the phase where you can actually do damage to the boss. So right now I'm just trying to look for him because I do want to do a little bit more damage to this boss. So I was walking to the other side to see where the boss is. And I see him invisible, you know, as always, trying to hide. So make sure you are aware of where the boss is. So he likes to go to the left or the right, or he goes in the far middle, the far back of the map, and hides behind this specific pillar. So make sure you know where the boss is, because sometimes you can get lost and then you can have trouble looking for him sometimes. So right now, my prediction is he's gonna still move left and right, but like I said, he can hide behind a pillar, behind a wall. So just make sure you throw your storm grenades. Now I was just taking my sweet time. Now if I had enough heavy right now, I would do massive DPS and then just get this run done and over it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but I did lose my patience over here. For this footage, I think I actually just went down to the map, and yes I did. Look at that. Isn't that funny? I just got really impatient with this boss because, well, he was just getting on my nerves, so I decided to just use my super and then just manipulate this boss. And yes, he did teleport, if you saw that. Sometimes he does that. And then now what I'm going to do over here, and then just use Lemon Arc. So I'm going to use Lemon Arc. I'm just going to jump over him. I remember old seasons ago, he used to shoot solar and then run and then does his melee attack. I feel like they nerfed this boss a bit because he behaved way more aggressive during the old Exodus crash than this season or the previous season. Anyway, I defeated the boss. We got platinum. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be a hunter video with cheese.